Of all, like to give the floor to Mr. Dimitris Foulas, who is the Vice President of the Energy Sector of the Regulatory Authority for Waste, Energy and Water. Can you hear me? Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I deeply regret not being able to attend the conference in person because of a personal matter, and hopefully I will be joining you in the future events. First of all, I would like to speak about one of the biggest problems of the Greek energy markets, because there was no long-term contract. There were no PPAs, and the retail market followed the volatility of the wholesale market. And this is why the intraday and day-ahead market regulation scheme has been put in place. That has been funded by the Just Transition Fund with 3.5 billion. This represents a step towards normalization of the market, an important step in the direction of normality is lifting the emergency 5% TTF levy. This extra cost is taken into consideration in the planned offers. We are talking about the new normal. As you said, Mr. Metaxas, we're not going back into a new stability, but rather back to a new volatility in the direction of the transition. The Repower EU mechanism facility, aside from the measures, has paid particular attention to the single way for becoming independent of Russian gas, and that is becoming net zero. And this should be taken into consideration by the regulators in order to achieve the lowest cost. There are two ways to do that: the correct functioning of the market and the functioning of infrastructure. OISEP, in its final appraisal, Acer, on its final appraisal, resulted in room for improvement to address mutual resilience challenges. New investments in renewables are necessary. The predictability and stability of the energy cost must be enhanced. That is very important for the industry. And of course, last but not least, protecting the end consumers, and by that meaning the household consumers. The Commission's proposals are related to greater flexibility of the energy system and to lifting barriers for consumers' access to renewables energy or low-carbon markets through PPAs. The option of facilitating demand response and access to storage markets is also of paramount importance. Protecting consumers from price volatility can be achieved by complementing short-term markets with instruments that will be providing incentives, such as the PPAs, the CFDs, and optimize the forward markets to enhance their liquidity. Within this context, we have completed the demand response regulatory framework, either individually or through aggregators, as well as the renewables within the balancing market and the framework for the demand response participation in day-ahead and intraday markets will be completed soon. We are awaiting ADMIE and IKE's final options for the short-term markets. Over more than a year, we have completed, with the help of an advisor, a study on the generation of a platform for PPA drafting, while in early 2024 a study will be completed on the improvement of markets or the integration of the energy market. At the same time, we are monitoring the integration of the European-wide intraday auctions and the diamond IDM commodities, as well as market reduction. At the same time, we need to ensure the system's reliability, providing flexibility as stated in the National Climate Action Plan, based on the new definition about the power mechanism as laid down in the Council's regulation. Member States have the opportunity to define their resources availability in order for the CRM sufficiency to be able to incorporate capacities that go beyond the availability capacities. These mechanisms should not be seen as a last resort, but rather as important mechanisms for the energy transition. Following a consultation with the member states, the Commission should put forward proposals for an easier way to negotiate CRMs. Last but not least, I would like to talk about the grid regulation. The debate in Europe as well as in Greece focus on the urgent need to enhance grids through to the rise of the renewables. I consider a proper grid development plan critical in terms of and on the side of the producers. Transparency is also of paramount importance. The investors should know how much electric space is available in what regions, what procedure is underlying, what are other conditions that come into play. The design should not be generating new bottlenecks, nor curtailing injection in excess of the regulations cap, because this would have a spillover effect on the income of the producers. As the former speakers have already pinpointed, and hoping that the Greek transmission system will hopefully become a hub of green energy export, the internal congestions of the system need to be addressed first for renewables installed and generated to be exported abroad as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Furlaris. We will have the chance for a wider discussion later on. Just one question from me. From what we understand, and you have also indicated this in the prioritization of the authorities' regulatory interventions, the retail consumer is to be protected. Would you like to specify this further? We heard about the broader supply market. It is in at a stage, as the minister told us this morning, that interventions are being planned. So what is your take on this, and what is the role of the regulatory authority? The regulatory authority for waste, energy, and water has carried out a public consultation so as for consumers to go back to the regular supply framework. So this is about predictability of energy cost. On this basis, we issued a decision on regulatory measures. And the most important thing is the tariffs that will be indicated with colors. In the past, there was no such thing, and therefore there were some bills that looked like they were stable, whereas they were not. So in this way, consumers will be able to compare their bills with others. The boosting of competition on the retail market will be most beneficial for consumers. The authority also has is going to fix carry out further actions. We are awaiting the ministry's decision on those. The Ministry of Energy is going to carry out an auction. The retail market opened in 2013. Today's circumstances are not up to the modernization, especially the Article 42 should be modernized in terms of changing to another supplier. There are consumers who are changing from one supplier to another without paying their bills. This is a sort of a supplier shopping. So the regulatory authority wants to protect especially the vulnerable consumers, but also discourage any strategic non-payers. Thank you. Let me remind you, since I know a few things about some strategic defaulters. A strategic defaulter is not someone who is disputing a bill. So if the question is the legality of a charge, this is more complex. If someone is disputing the charge itself. Anyway, thank you very much. We'll get back to you later.